Okay, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Return of the Living Dead Girls.
Hey,
This is Nikki.
this is Elaine, aka Rachel, for those of you who know me by Rachel.
Rachel Elaine.
Rachel Elaine.
I mean, yeah, this is us. And we are doing a visual today. We're going to record, and I'm excited about today's,
for the YouTube.
For YouTube. And I'm excited about today's topic.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Which is NDEs. And for those of you that don't know, that stands for near-death experiences.
Near-death experience.
So, yeah, we did a little research in the past week. Definitely could get lost in that rabbit hole of information. There is so much information and so many different avenues you can go with this, I feel like. But for me, that's what makes it interesting.
I mean, yeah, we've always...
Well, a little spooky.
I mean, yeah, it is spooky, yes, but it's also, I mean, it is paranormal in a sense, and it can be spooky because I feel like some people have had spooky, or they've had bad near-death experiences that like change them, and they're like, oh my god, like they want to like change their ways in their life and everything. So I'm like, what happened to you? So I don't know, but it's a good topic. I feel like it's an interesting topic that I don't think a lot of people talk about.
Well, if you're not in that realm, I feel like people aren't talking about it. But once you kind of dive into the subject, you realize how many people this has happened to, and their experiences, whether they change because they experience something bad, or whether they change because they experience something good, or just in between.
Or maybe they don't even change at all.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't believe it.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things that people say about it. Basically, okay, I want to start and just kind of do a general definition of NDE from like Google or whatever. You could Google it and it'll say this, but just summarize. So, what is an NDE? Mystical.
That was me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. What did you do?
I was muting my microphone, but that didn't work out. So we're going to leave that.
Okay.
Near death.
So, yeah, an NDE is a deep mystical episode when someone is close to death or even after death, meaning like no brain activity, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And there always seems to be like, well, there's like a general consensus of commonalities of things that happen during this, because it's kind of, it differentiates from culture to location to just, it's just very individualistic.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would be like, what do other countries or people from other countries like experience? Like, do they experience their own God? You know what I mean? Or like,
yes.
And it's like, it kind of makes you think like, well, yeah, I don't know. It makes you think a lot of things. Like, are there multiple gods really? Which I do think that there are, but a lot of people don't. Or is the one God that everybody's God just literally one God, and we just, I don't know. You know what I mean?
And honestly, after kind of diving into this and doing some research on people from Christianity, pagan, Buddhist, just a whole bunch of different beliefs and locations in the world, and it really does make me think that there's so many different deities, there's so many different but it's all so similar, but it's just slightly different in culture. I don't know, it's really interesting. But okay, so some of the common things, to go back to that really quick, is let me see. Okay, bright lights, hallways, tunnels, encounters with deities. People, there's been a lot of cases and people saying that they like interacted or were helped by them. Beautiful landscapes, flowers. Think, what's that fucking movie? I took a note about it. What Dreams May Come.
Oh
Did you ever see that movie with Robin Williams?
Yeah, I did, and it was something else.
Oh my God, so many different emotions.
Yeah.
So yeah, people have described that sense of peace, love, well-being, energetic communication, sense of timelessness, messengers, loved ones, and reports of knowing things that they should not have any knowledge of, and they come back and they're like, hey, giving information and either helping or
Like, what kind of information?
one of the cases, this lady told somebody where some money was that their sister hid or something like that, and the deceased sister wanted them to have it, so this lady like,
What?
Yeah.
I wish somebody would tell me where that some money is.
I know.
They'd be like, it's under the tree.
I'd be like, well, I'm gonna go because damn. But yeah, a lot of. Okay, so where are we going next? Basically, with that, that's the commonalities, though.
Yeah, I do know that it's like the tunnel. Everybody seems to see a tunnel or like the hallway, a door.
Yes.
Or even floating, above themselves.
So that's what I was gonna kind of gear into a little segue there is that the cultural and religious beliefs, of course, they play a really big part in what people are seeing, which I've always wondered that.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, like, because if you go on YouTube, majority of them, the first ones that pop up, it's about Christian-related things.
Yeah. Jesus.
Angels, Jesus, God. But honestly, again, after doing the research and reading about people in Japan, people in India, people all the way back to like the 1600s with like Native Americans documenting, or European and Christians actually documenting that about Native Americans, but it's just different. It's different for everyone. And then there was even a case recorded back then when the Christians did start to kind of infiltrate the Native American ways and their religion or spirituality, I should say. That's when the Native Americans kind of started experiencing Christian-related things in their NDEs.
See, and it's kind of conflicting for me because it's like, if they were doing that, like, are they just, like, when they die, are they just thinking like, oh, this is now what my God is, and this is just your brain, playing that for you? Or, because I would think like, well, I don't know. I don't know. So to get into the Native American stuff a little bit, this is what I kind of found out. So NDEs were largely a Native American afterlife belief, right? And in one of the essays that I read that was written by like a PhD, MD, all these other little titles, in the 16 and 1700s is when they started documenting like European and Christian missionaries about the Native Americans and the NDEs. Okay. There wasn't a lot of documentation about Europeans or Christians necessarily having that, but they were documenting the Native Americans having that. And what also was documented is how they would come back from those with information sometimes to help their tribe, and also, of course, things that would change their own spiritual practices and chants or whatever, and then also coming back and being like, don't go with the whites, don't go with Christianity, like, it's bad, like, don't do it. Don't go with the whites. Yeah, literally that. I know. Sorry, white people, we love you. I mean, it's history. It's history, that's what we're talking about. And if you're white, you already know, so. You're white. I'm just saying. White lie. Yeah. But also, I mean, nowadays, the scientific route, basically, they're like, it's just a lack of oxygen and different things firing or not firing. Yeah, see? And that's kind of like, sometimes like, you could say that, like, because we really don't know, I guess, until we die. And it's like, sometimes I think that I'm like, what if it's just neurons firing and playing what we believe is going to happen when we die, and then that's what's happening. Totally. It's hard to,
But
some people really come back like really spiritually different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because of what they saw or felt, it's usually what they feel. But my thing in about that, because I can see how that is what happens. Because obviously, if they're fully dead and they don't come back, like, we don't know exactly what happens. We
Right,
don't know
because
what
they're
they
dead.
saw. These people, there was lack of oxygen. There was no brain activity. So the things that were happening there, whatever they experienced, it's different than what would actually happen once you fully pass. But on the flip side of that, I also say, how do some of these people come back and know things that they're not supposed to know?
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
So that has to be an afterlife or something. That's true. That's a good point. I didn't think about that, because it's like, if none of that's real, then how did the sister's ghost tell them there's money or something, you know?
Yeah. It's weird.
It is weird. It's not science. Never mind.
I mean, some of it is. This is, where did I write this freaking thing? Because this PhD lady, she said that's what it is, that you kind of have to accept that there is a physical and paranormal elements involved with NDE.
Yeah, of course. I mean, because like we said, we're like, if they die, they're going through another realm, it seems, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's the debate. That's what people are saying. Like, is it another dimension? Is it another timeline? Are those the same things? You know?
That's a whole nother topic. Dimensions and timelines.
Well, it's not, because when you are listening to these people and their stories of their NDEs, they talk about that. They talk about the timelessness of where they are, you know? And it's so hard to describe and all these other things, but I'm just like, girl, yeah.
Well, shit.
That's what I actually wrote right here. I was like, NDE leads to discussions of spirits or ghosts or loved ones, you know, time traveling, reincarnation, and ghost experiences. Anyways, but
That's me drinking. Y'all are gonna get a little bit of ASMR on this bitch.
anyways, before I get more into my notes, she has stories, I think, that she looked up, people's actual experiences and what they say about it. So we're gonna
So we can delve into that there. So yeah, so kind of basically what you're saying, like different people, different countries and religions. So this first one, he is of Jewish background. So he's, you know, obviously practices Judaism and he's Jewish. And this guy apparently was telling about a story when he was little or something, and he I guess he had drowned a little bit, and he, you know, died from the drowning and all that. So I'm just gonna kind of start it right here where he started having the near-death experience, basically.
Okay.
And it says, somehow I was beside my father. I was watching him pound on my chest and beg me to come back. I remember feeling no pain. I was yelling at him like, I'm all right, I'm right here. He did not hear me. I stood up as my dad continued CPR. No one could see me standing there. In the woods by the house, I spotted a woman at the tree line. She was gorgeous. Long black hair, dressed in all black that flowed around her. I couldn't make out her face for some reason, and to this day, her face escapes me. I looked back at my father. I saw water dribbling from the corners of my mouth. A parent is on the phone with 911. I again looked to the trees. The woman is closer to me. I glanced at my dad. He is sobbing and mumbling the song, Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Okay. I look at the woman who has moved closer, and something tells me this isn't right. She wasn't supposed to be there. My dad cried harder. The strange woman is now sprinting towards me. I scream and turn away as a blinding bright light, as bright as the sun, shines on me. I wake up on the ground, coughing up water, and my lungs were heaving for air, as if I had never experienced breathing before. My nose is gushing blood. My dad holds me and thanks God for bringing me back. I try to tell him that I was right there with him and about the woman who wanted me, but he doesn't listen. He says, I am lucky. I still have nightmares for weeks about this woman from the woods. I dream about her whisking me away and telling me that she was so close and I cannot escape. She was saying that she will get what is rightfully hers. Okay, goddamn. Right. So this was not so pleasant, I suppose. Every dream ends cold sweat, and my nose bleeding. The dream stopped when I was 8. So, and it kind of gives, what I liked about it, this story is from there's actually like a website called the Near Death Foundation. And it's like, it's, from different accounts from all over the world, which is cool. Like there was hundreds of stories on there.
I believe it.
And I guess it's ran by this, this doctor or scientist, guy with a PhD. I didn't get his name. Too bad, but I'll share the website. I have the website. But they write all sorts of things, like where these people come from, background and everything. And I just kind of put a little bit in there. Like I said, he was Jewish. And it asked, has your religious practices changed since your experience? And he said no. And then he asked, did your experience include features consistent with your earthly beliefs? He said, content that was entirely not consistent with the beliefs you had at the time of your experience. Okay, I don't know what that means. I guess he didn't experience what he thought.
Right.
Did you have a change in your values and beliefs because of your experience? Yes, while I was a secular Jew, I do believe there are things that my religion does not have the answer to. He said, did you seem to encounter a mystical being or presence? I encountered a definite being or a voice clearly of mystical or unearthly origin. The woman in my encounter was pale-skinned, long black hair flowing in drapes. I couldn't make out her face, but I know she was beautiful. I still cannot recall her face.
Damn.
So, yeah, and that was kind of where I stopped there on that. But yes, I guess, I don't know. I mean, it seems kind of near death-ish, but like his was like really different. Like he seems to be scared that this woman was trying to take him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So and he was Jewish, so he didn't really see Jesus. He didn't see God or.
And I'm glad that you included that because that's something I didn't read anything about is a Jewish experience with that. But yeah, I'm like, that is interesting. It is a different little, because they're all like slightly similar. Well, not all of them. If they're positive, but some of them people have reported going to like hellish or dark or underworld type places.
I have that. I have one of those stories.
And yeah, I think, and just to kind of go into that before we go into your story, I, in my research, read, and I wanted to share this so bad with you.
All right.
Because I was like, oh my God, dude, we've talked about this before. Okay, so where's my little, this is it right here. But that in Native American and some cultures, belief of an inverted underworld where the dead fear living visitors, such as NDEs, shamans, and mediums, anyone that can communicate with the spirit world.
They don't like it?
Yeah, they're saying that it's kind of like how we are when we have ghost experiences, basically.
And they're like, no, you're living, we're scared of you.
We're popping in with NDEs, shamans, all the people that can connect to that side. And yeah, I was just like, you know what? And that we smell, apparently, when we go on that side.
Well, they smell too, though, because, people say they smell certain things,
I thought that too, like rotten
flesh,
sulfur type smells,
roses, smoke, cigarette smoke, something.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be anything really.
And a scent, yeah. But I was like, ooh, that's really.
But then it kind of makes you think, like, what if the scent that we're smelling that's not there is literally coming from the other realm? It's blending in with our realm.
I know. I'm like, girl, I'm telling you so many different things about that. And then I also, before you get into the story, one more thing. I read about this, which was reminiscent of a few different movies, but one that's super popular that most people would know is Coco from Disney.
Oh, Coco.
But I don't know if this was a Native American belief. Maybe it even goes back farther than that, but it is called it's called the Orpheus myth, which is basically the idea and myth that a living person can go to the afterlife realm to get somebody.
Oh,
But
shit.
in order to do that, they have to do like a taboo favor for the deity or whoever, is going to help them bring whoever they want back. And of course, there's like guidelines, and if things don't work out, you can't go back either. Like,
Shit. That's interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting too.
I don't think I've ever heard of that. The Orpheus effect? Or what is it?
The Orpheus myth. Yeah. I was just like, wow, that's
That's interesting. I never even heard of that.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it depicted in movies, but it's
Coco.
It's real shit. Girl, that movie made me cry so hard. Like ugly cry.
It was a sad movie. It's good though. I love that movie.
It is good. It's super good. But do you have a story involving the underworld?
Let's see. Let me go back to the other one.
A hellish encounter?
Yes, I do. So, this woman, her last name was Fenimore. I don't know, Fenimore or something like that. So apparently, yeah, she died. She was talking about, like, I forgot how she died. I didn't get that part. Or I didn't write that part down. But I was just talking about her experience. So it says here, Fenimore remembers being surrounded in darkness that seemed to go on forever. She could make out the figures of a group of young people nearby and blurted out, "Oh, we must be the suicides." Oh, that's right. She killed herself. So that's right. I remember this. The woman, I guess, apparently killed herself or tried to kill herself.
Okay.
And so she said,
hence NDE.
Yeah. And she said, "Oh, we must be the suicides. I know that's inappropriate, but at the same time, it's still pretty great. Also great the fact that she didn't actually have to speak to say it. She realized she could communicate using thought alone. But also that no matter how much she tried, she would never make a connection with or elicit a response from any of the damn souls around her, as evidenced by the lack of a crowd response to her suicide bit. At one point, she was banished to a different part of hell, one that resembled something more like an open field, and in which lost souls roamed about, fully able to communicate with each other, but too consumed by their own misery to engage in any sort of human interaction." So that one wasn't really too hellish, but apparently she was saying that she felt like she was in hell with all the souls, like the damn souls.
Yeah, I mean, you would be able to feel it.
That's true. You're right. So it wasn't pleasant.
Yeah.
Apparently it wasn't pleasant. But yeah, this lady apparently, I guess, yeah, I remember that. She basically had attempted suicide. And yeah. And I guess, according to her, there's a section in hell for the suicides.
And see, this takes me to a thought process I was having during this, of hearing so many different cultures and religions and just people talk about this. It just seems like everybody has, I'm just going to generalize and say heaven and hell, but it's named something different for everybody. Just like they're angels, just like God, just like the sun, like it's all very similar, but it's all similar, but it's just different things. Yeah, like it really does seem like that.
Girl,
I don't know.
But
I think that's really strange to think about. That takes me back to that Robin Williams movie, because that's what his wife did, and he went to go try to find her. Oh, shoot. Do you remember that?
It's been a while since I've seen that movie, actually, but I need to check it out.
He was in that beautiful flowers blooming meadow place, and he was trying to reconnect with the family or just whoever had passed over, and he was looking for her and then found out that she had committed suicide and she was in a different part. And
you know what it also kind of what makes me think about that is that movie The Lovely Bones.
Oh my god,
because it's kind of, did you see it or you know?
I didn't see that.
Oh shit, see, you need to see that one. That one's crazy. That one is pretty wild. And basically, yeah, it's the same thing about a girl who she gets killed by this guy who, you know, he was obviously a pervert. He killed her.
Oh shit.
And the father is like trying to figure out what happened. And the girl is like in the other world. Like she's in the other world and she's kind of like same thing, same dimension. Like she's seeing like flowers and she's meeting different beings or different spirits, but she's also in our world and she's trying to communicate with. Hi, Lumi. Oh my God, he let me touch him.
This is my cat, y'all.
Here, hold on, wait. We got distracted. Here, let me say something.
He's just gonna lay on my.
Y'all hear? Oh my God, he's letting me touch him with this. Oh, okay. I just wanted to get a response.
Short-lived.
Anyways, yeah, so the lovely bone. So basically, yeah, she's communicating to her father
From the other realm.
from the other realm by sending him little signs and things, and he eventually figures out that, like, you know, it's her, and that he kind of ends up he solves the murder in a sense, because he finds out that the guy that killed her was her neighbor. Well, we're telling you now.
You bitch.
Sorry, you'll forget.
No, I will not.
Okay, but you'll see it.
She is spoiler alert.
I am so sorry. Spoiler alert.
She's spoiler
Oh
alert.
my God. You know what? It's fine.
You are barely in frame over there.
I don't care.
I'm just saying.
All right, now I'm in frame.
So something that I was thinking and recollecting when I'm doing this research, because again, some of the people that have experienced these have talked about being in this other realm, or whatever you want to call it, and energetically communicating with whatever.
Yeah.
Whether it's a fucking light, whether it's a messenger, whether it's an angel,
I'm just
whether
checking,
it's
bro.
whatever, you're gonna get put down. Like on the floor, I mean.
Right, not like literal put down.
No.
I'm just checking the batteries. So careful.
No. I'm sorry, y'all.
He's just a feisty guy.
He's mean. He is.
He's like, I'll show you, motherfucking
he
indie.
just likes to act out. He really does.
He about to knock down the ring.
Because he acts like he gets no attention at all. But anyways, so these people discussing communication through energy when they're experiencing this with their loved ones, with the deities, like I said, with whatever they're experiencing. And I thought to myself, I know exactly what that means, because I've done that before with somebody in our family that had passed. And I'll never forget it. Like,
What do you mean?
because Grandma Cardenas actually visited me a little after she passed.
Oh my God, did you tell me this?
I don't know. I thought maybe I shared it, probably on another one of the episodes, but
No.
oh, I don't know.
I don't remember that story. Okay, well, tell us right now.
So basically, yeah, it was, I'm sleeping and it was like a dream, I guess, but it was really her. And I could sense her in so many ways, not just visually, but she was communicating with me just energetically, not through words.
What? And like, what do you, well, I mean, what do you mean energetically? Like, how do you, like, explain that?
I mean, it was just like inside myself.
Oh my God. Yeah, I do believe that.
Like instead of us
Like
just,
in our thoughts.
yeah.
But it's them, but
And
it's
just,
also
like,
us.
The energy flow, I could feel it like in my body, I could feel it in my mind.
Whoa.
I could just feel it. And then I was
But
doing
I know
it
what you're talking
back.
about.
Because that's how we were communicating.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that makes sense.
But
That makes a lot of sense.
It made me think about that, because people were talking about doing that with their loved ones. And I was like, well, that's really crazy.
But that's good though, and it's special.
Yeah, I thought it was. When
And
it
maybe
happened.
like that happens frequently and we just don't realize it. Because we think like it's just us or me, but it really is them.
No, that's something else I was thinking about, because one of the guys said that when he came back. He was like, we're so distracted by our lives, by our own emotions, by just daily life, that we're not connected like that anymore. And we should be, but we're just not.
It's true. I think that's why a lot of the, like, yeah, no, the Native Americans, people back in the day, obviously before technology and all that, like, I think that's how they were able to communicate more and see things more and feel things more, because they were more aware and present. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, especially the Native Americans. I mean, that's that, you know, they were very in tune to the spirit world, the earth.
And the spirit world.
Yeah. So it only makes sense that they would be able to channel it more and experience it more. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of information about that. Like I said, about the Native Americans and the NDEs and how they used to experience that, how the shamans could get there sometimes without necessarily being like near death.
Yeah. Yeah, because you and I believe that too. You don't have to be near death. You can, I mean, because there's so much just like, I guess that's what the visions are, you know, or like the channeling, or when you meditate deeply, you're able to connect to the other side.
Yeah.
Which, you know, yeah, you don't have to be near death too. So yeah, I think that too.
Yeah, it could be the I was gonna say medication.
Yeah, it's definitely the medication. Sometimes you gotta take medication because they take like drugs in a sense.
Smoking. It could be
like herbs,
substances,
but not drugs. But
dancing, meditation. That's what I was trying to say. Teas. There's so many things that could help them get there.
Because if you think about it too, like even like the Amazon people, the indigenous people of the jungle, you know, Amazon or wherever, Inca, whatever. Well, not Inca, but you know. They take those, you know, they know what plants and leaves and herbs to take to help you get into that other realm.
Oh yeah, they know all about the earth and the plants and everything. I actually wrote a little tidbit about this young person. Okay. And this is, well, whatever article I got it from, it was 1872. A 9-year-old from Lakota, named Black Elk had an NDE.
What?
And came back, talked about how he traveled to other realms, met ancestors, benefited from the experience with knowledge that he came back from. He spoke of human and animal transformation, kind of like shape-shifting. Talked about sacred sticks and powers.
Sacred stick.
He became something known as a ghost dance leader.
Oh shit, okay.
Which is basically someone that can get to that point of a trance-like state to have like
conversations with it, like a medium.
Yes, like shaman, whatever. But that's what that was called. It's called a ghost dance leader.
That's awesome. I didn't know that they had that, you know.
Yeah, and he even came back one time when he was older with a design of a shirt. Basically, they're called ghost dance shirts.
Oh shit.
And they would design it with different symbolism and pictures and stuff that would help them.
Wow.
I know.
That's awesome.
And I saw some online, actually. They're very interesting looking. One of them had all this hair on it that was like hair from sacred moments, hair from their enemies.
Whoa, hair of my enemies.
Girl, I thought that was
slay your enemies.
I thought that was like pretty fucking
slay
scary.
Your enemies. What is that? Just the hair of my enemies?
Girl, it was like lined with, I was like, whoa, that's pretty hardcore.
The scalp of my enemies.
Scalp your ass.
I like that. Like, instead of, that's different. Like, I'm going to wear the hair of my enemies.
I mean, girl, when I saw it, I was like, whoa, that's crazy, but really interesting. But did you have another story?
I did, actually. Okay. I have one more, y'all. One more.
She's got another story, and I have some more little tidbits after that, and yeah.
And then it's a wrap, y'all.
Meow.
But this one, this one is she was Hindu. So this is a Hindu person.
Cool.
And again, she was, I think she was not literally, this was a woman, whatever. But basically she was saying, I was doing my household chores when I choked and couldn't breathe. I felt my head getting heavy. Then it was light and was going to fall down. I fell onto the bed and passed out. I felt like I was floating. Everything was colored sky blue and white. I felt like I was sliding upwards on a water slide, but it wasn't water. Rather, it was a bright white light. So always a bright white light. At the top of the slide was a room like a doctor's waiting room. My mother and her sisters, who had passed on, We're all there waiting. We're all in the waiting room. They were all wearing white jackets. I couldn't see their feet as it looked like clouds beneath them. I was so happy to see all of them, and they all looked so young and happy. My mother was sitting closest to a gold door. There was a small space next to her on the bench. As I moved towards her to sit next to her, she spread arms out as if not allowing me to come sit next to her. Her smile turned into a cross face, telling me to go and that I shouldn't be here. I felt like I dropped back into my body and then started coughing. I was so happy after that and was smiling the whole time. So I guess, yeah, like hers, but again, she's Hindu, but she didn't, her experience, is not what you would think it would have been. Like, she went into a waiting room, like, she didn't see anybody, I guess, any of the gods or the Hindu gods, like, it was just her mom and her sisters in a waiting room, and they told her, like, no, she's not ready. And it actually gives the date. This was this year. Date NDE occurred July 22nd of 2024. Ooh. Yeah, so this was literally like this year. And this, okay, the question. So has your religious practices changed since your experience? Yes, I don't follow any specific religious beliefs. Okay, well.
I've heard that before. Or in the research.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But she still identifies as, or not identifies, but follows Hinduism. Did your experience include features consistent with your earthly beliefs? So this one says content that was entirely not consistent with the beliefs you had at the time of your experience. There didn't seem to be any beliefs. My aunts who would normally wear dots didn't have any on. Well, that's interesting.
That is.
So they didn't wear their dots, like, that they would normally have on. Did you have a change in your values and beliefs because of your experience? Yes, from having religious fear before my experience, I don't have any rigid beliefs and take each day as it comes. Okay. Did you seem to encounter a mystical being? Okay, that was and she said no, because clearly she did not.
Yeah.
Did you see a deceased or religious spirit? She said, I actually saw them. So it's meaning her mom and her sisters.
Right.
Did you encounter or become aware of any beings who previously lived on earth who are described by name in religion, like Buddha, Jesus? And she said no. So clearly no entities or deities. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the experience with her, and that was Hinduism.
So interesting enough, I did read an essay from another PhD, and it was basically about people's NDEs in India.
Really?
So, and Hindu, there was, I think, 2 in there, but that was a common thread in their NDEs, is that they would go somewhere and someone, either a loved one, a messenger, a deity, would tell them, like, you're not supposed to be here, you're the wrong person, like, you need to go back.
What? That's weird.
I know.
That actually reminds me, okay, real quick, of that. My dad was telling me a story. I think it happened to one of his uncles.
Okay.
So one of his uncles, so I guess, my great uncle, whatever, but I'm going to say his uncle. I don't know if it was a cousin or an uncle, but one of the family members. And he said that basically they were talking about, like, he did have a near-death experience, and that he remembers dying. I think he was in a hospital or something, and that he did die, and that his uncle was like, he was in an airplane. Like, he remembers being in an airplane, and his father was there, and his dad was like, oh, you're not supposed to be here on this flight, and he's like, you need to go back. And that his uncle basically woke up, like, it was like a short, story, but like, yeah, but his was like, he was in an airplane with his dad, and his dad said, no, you can't be here. Like, you're not supposed to be here. It's not your time, and go back, And
again, like I said in the beginning, I think there's a lot of similarities. Sometimes there's like no similarities, but I don't know. It's crazy, the commonalities, but it's all individualistic. Like,
yeah,
it's so individualized to everybody. Because it could be a waiting room, it could be a house, it could be a field, a plane. So, and to kind of beckon back to the idea of our brain just misfiring or lack of oxygen and all that, it takes me to people that are near death, in the sense that they're just very ill and they're just really on their way out. But
yeah,
and those people have experiencing loved ones and angels or messengers and stuff like that. And it's documented. Doctors interviewing patients, people that work with hospice people, and there's like serious accounts of loved ones are just
coming to see them,
being comforted. And it
we're
just
coming to
makes
get
you
them.
think about, yes, and telling them like, I'm gonna be here to help you
transition
when you go. That was a firework.
Oh shit!
Firecracks. So, and not to whatever, but I really wanted to share this too.
Okay, yep, go ahead.
Oh, well, first off, have you ever seen that movie? It's called Flatliners.
Yes.
Okay, the one with Kiefer.
Yeah, it was good. Well, no, I didn't see the Kiefer one. I saw the new one.
Oh, okay, I didn't see the new one. I saw the Kiefer one. And it's good. It's so good. If y'all haven't seen that movie, I think it's from the 90s, the one that I saw. And then there's a newer version too. But it's basically about that. It's about, without too many spoilers, like these medical students, I believe. And they start experimenting with NDEs.
Yeah, I do remember
bringing
that.
each other back. So we're just going to leave it there. But it's a really cool movie. It's very suspenseful and like, whoa. But to talk about that, because they were doing research on that, what I kind of was led to in all of this too was reincarnation. And I know we could go in a whole episode with that. But I do want to talk about a case, because this again kind of feeds off the idea that it's more than just our brain turning off.
Yeah.
That there is more to it, whether it's realms or timelines or whatever you want to say. But there is a case. There's a doctor that's been doing research since like the 80s or something.
Doctor.
But a recent kid. Thank you, doctor. he was interviewing this little boy that his mom contacted him about. I don't know, he was maybe like 5 or 6 or something. And ever since he was like 2 or 3, she was like, he's experiencing something weird. He's telling me weird stories, very specific things that she started to research and finding things out that were true. And like, why does he know these things? Boom, she goes to the doctor. Long story short, the doctor goes to their house to interview them. And one of the things that he does is show him pictures of who he thinks this little boy is.
What?
From another life, if that makes sense. So who he thought he was this little boy. I forget the little boy's name, R.I.P. A baby. I mean, younger. I mean, he might have been like 2 or 3.
I think I've heard of that story.
The guy that died, the little boy that died, a black boy. And what the doctor showed him was a playground that the little boy that died used to play on, a picture of his mom, a picture of his dad, a picture of 2 other things that he identified. 5 out of 5 of these things that it was the little boy's life that died.
What?
That the little boy is saying that he is now.
Oh my God.
Girl. My mind was so blown about that, because...
So that means that soul, I guess, didn't, I don't know, like reset, or I don't know how to think about it.
It was given to another body.
Yeah, it was given to another body.
And the reason I even like fell upon that, and I'm sure you did too, is because that's what people, like the Hindu lady was saying. Is it your spirit? Is it your consciousness that's being turned away or sent back? And if it's not, my question at this point too is like, who gets to decide and why somebody comes back? Because sometimes it's not like right then.
Girl.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying. I thought, girl, this is what this subject is.
The subject literally leads to other questions that
I know.
It can be a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
It leads to more questions and answers. Let's just say that.
And to me, just researching it really makes me feel super curious. One, it makes me feel intrigued.
Which is why we like the paranormal and, try to go something. That's why I like to go something.
Yeah. And it definitely took me there too, because these ideas of who could be visiting and why, and
yeah, like why are they here? Why did they not go? Why are you?
Yeah, like seriously. Let me make sure I don't have anything else
ASMR,
interesting.
y'all.
ASMR for a second, do it. Okay, I think that's really everything I wanted to touch on.
Okay, well, I'm over here making all this noise.
To deny Christian ways, return back to life and come back to the earth. Oh yeah, I read about this story very quickly in relation to culture and religion being an influence on what people might experience. Mm-hmm. There was a sick man in an area where Christianity was brought to, and it was like super strong. And in his NDE, he was turned away because he was not baptized.
I'm not baptized.
I am.
But honestly, I'm not baptized. I'm not.
At this point, I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people will differ on that, but I'm not sure if it matters.
Yeah, I was going to say that kind of seems dumb. But I mean, not to discredit his NDE, but I'm like, what? Like,
but that was.
But a lot of people are baptized.
Yeah, that was in relation to people's location and religion being an influence on it, because this man was not a Christian, he was not whatever, but once they came in and integrated that into them, that started, kind of happening. People's Christian related experiences in their NDEs.
That's questionable to me, because it's like, you didn't know this before, and if you had died before you learned all that, like what would your NDE be like? Like
something different.
Would it have mattered? Like, and if it's belief wise, does the belief set what happens to you in death? I thought it was all universal.
I don't know. I want to say it really is, honestly.
I think it is too.
Because I even heard of a story of a guy that had an experience, and he was visited and taken to pagan deities, and after he didn't know anything about a couple of these deities that literally visited him during his NDE, and afterwards he turned pagan.
That's interesting.
I know.
Again, it leads to more questions than answers.
It's so intriguing. There's just so many different
levels, layers.
Yes,
ogres have layers.
Oh my god. Like an onion. But I mean, yeah, that's okay. So that's definitely everything now that I wrote down. So
okay. Well,
and
I guess
also how the Native Americans thought that they could use the Milky Way as a path for the souls to the land of the dead.
Oh shit! Like the Milky Way of the stars.
Yeah, like literally space. And that girl, that took me into a whole nother thing. And then aliens, and it was just.
That's a whole nother topic.
Girl,
again.
We can't get into aliens, so we need a whole episode for that by itself.
And we will.
Yeah, we will, because girl, aliens, and in relation to this specifically, but
okay.
Anyways, that's kind of just a quick little discussion and random tidbits about NDEs that
near-death experiences
we picked up. And again, there's just so much. Do your own research. I meant to share that too. There's actually another
I forgot the website I was going to show y'all. Hold on. My bad. Look at me. I forgot. We're so bad at this, y'all.
This one is called Seattle International Association for Near-Death Studies.
What?
And they've been going since the 80s, I think.
I bet you that's where Flatliners came from.
And if you go to their website, actually, they have a few different audio files that are like an hour and a half of just people in these groups that meet up and talk about their near-death experiences, or having lost somebody and trying to connect with lost loved ones.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and real quick, the website that I got all the stories from is called NDERF, which is NDERF, so NDERF.org, and it's the Near Death Experience Research Foundation.
Okay.
like a whole foundation.
And again, if you're not in that realm, you don't think that these things are happening. But when you barely scratch the surface, honestly, you see that these experiences are happening all over the world, and they've been happening for a very, very long fucking time.
Yeah. It's wild.
So it's really interesting. I'm just gonna say interesting, spooky, and kind of like gives me this weird hope in a way, in a very morbid way, but it kind of does. I don't know.
I get it. I understand. Maybe, hopefully, we'll find out. I mean, we'll find out when we're dead.
Yeah.
Or almost dying or whatever. I don't know. But that's it, y'all.
Take us now. No, I'm just kidding. No. I'm so fucking kidding.
There goes her fucking morbid shit. Just take me right. Take me, Lord. Yeah. Like I said, if you go first, I'm going to do ghost hunting. I just
want to go. Okay.
Girl, shut up.
I don't want a fucking near death.
I do. What do? You want a near death so you can see if you experience something and then come back and live to tell it. I want a near death to see. Well, I don't want nothing.
Some people also, they literally experience nothingness.
Oh my God, how horrible is that?
Eternal darkness and nothingness.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's different for everybody.
Okay, yeah. Different, yeah.
And maybe if it were to happen to me right now, since I'm a non-believer,
I mean, I would want to be like on drugs.
Then I would be like in the nothingness, maybe.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think that if we try to, like I said, I mean, maybe we don't have to die. You can just like
take drugs.
Do the herbs, do the like the shamans do. Try to have like a
drug-fueled orgy with nothing but what? I don't know why it has to be an orgy, anyways. What are we talking about?
I was talking about, trying to go another route and not having a near-death experience. But also, not having to die.
Going into a trance.
But going into a trance and like...
vision quest type thing, yeah.
Yeah, we can try it like that. That would probably be better. Instead of actually having to like almost die.
Right? Like just go and take fucking ayahuasca.
Like peyote or something,
desert. Peyote, yeah. Girl, are you ready to see fucking the origins of creation?
Yes.
Are you ready to feel all the hurt that you've caused everybody and be told that you're loved at the same time? That's what some man, he was saying about he was saying that there was a moment when the light or the being or the whatever was letting him experience all the hurt that he's ever caused anybody in his life.
Yes, I believe that's true because I read an article that's technically what hell is. Like, if you're a bad person or if you've hurt a lot of people, like when you die, you're going to experience all that pain that you suffer. So that's why, that's why they say like you should try to be good and do good and not fuck over people, because if you're a person who's causing pain and suffering all the fucking time and not giving a fuck, then you're gonna experience that shit when you die.
Well, and also why he said they were letting him experience that is to teach him and show him that you're still a loved person, you still are valued, and to show that humans, that's what we do. We are always going to hurt each other. We're always going to hurt ourselves. Yeah. And that's why, yes, it is important to just try to be as decent and good as you possibly can to yourself and to others.
Be decent.
And
some of y'all out there are decent motherfuckers.
Yeah, there's a lot of y'all motherfuckers.
Okay, anyways.
But, but yeah, again, it goes so deep in so many layers. Definitely like an ogre onion. This topic.
It's one of them onion things. I know, right?
It's one of those ogre onion things.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, shit. I guess that's a wrap, girl.
I guess that's a wrap. She wants to wrap it up, I can tell.
I want to wrap it up.
Fucking talk about that for so long, but...
She can.
It was just so interesting. There's so many stories.
It's a lot. That's like I said, it's a lot. If we were to continue on, this podcast will go on for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Who got that kind of time?
I mean, we do, but I'm kind of ready to just chill as well, guys.
Ready for another beer.
Ready for another beer shot and just relax. It's Friday.
We're not alcoholics, y'all, I promise. Last time we were talking about having a drink too, but it was her birthday.
It was my birthday. And honestly, I really don't drink very much.
She don't drink that very much, but ever since now that I'm over here a lot, we be drinking.
Probably since like November. Yeah, like I was.
But we don't get drunk. We're just having a good time.
I mean, literally, I'll have like maybe 2 shots in a beer.
Exactly.
And then I'm like, I want to eat chips and go to sleep.
Exactly. And that's usually what happens.
Yeah. So, anyways, y'all, I hope that wasn't too much information. I feel like it wasn't enough information, but it's a good start for that because it's so good. It's just so good.
Yes, guys. Thanks for listening to us.
Thanks for stopping by, and if you've made it this far, especially thank you. Leave a comment.
Yeah, somebody leave a comment, please. Just follow us.
Be our first comment. Be that bitch.
Be somebody.
Be someone. That's what we say in Houston. And be someone who comments on bitches fucking podcasts.
And subscribe and return to the Living Dead Girls.
And subscribe. And don't forget, return to the Living Dead Girls.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.